Hello and welcome to my review of the Rapier quad heavy bolters and Graviton cannon battery for Legiones Astartes for Warhammer the Horus Heresy from Games Workshop. Now, one of these sets will cost you £44 and consists of 137 plastic components. You get two 60mm round bases and four 32mm round bases. You also get one Legion infantry transfer sheet containing 293 high quality waterslide transfers. The format of this review will be as usual, so I'll have a look at all the minis included in the set. I'll go through how easy they were to build. We'll look at the spare parts, we'll go through some size comparisons, and then at the end I'll go through all of their rules. I'm going to be using the Horus Heresy, I say 2.0 rules, you know, the first set of plastic rules, because I haven't quite got the Liber Astartes books for the new Saturnine edition, I'm going to call it. So without further ado then, let's have a look at this set. Now, don't let the £44 price point put you off. This set, both of them, are worth it. And there's one big drawback for both of these, which unfortunately the Tarantula Sentry gun set has one up, and that is that the Tarantula gun set itself, you can swap all the weapons. The missile set you can't, and unfortunately these you can't as well. It's a shame, but once I show you how they're kind of built, you'll probably understand. However, there have been a few kits recently, like the Solar Auxilia heavy weapons platform, that you can swap, I think, 4 different weapons with that kit, and I would have liked to have seen that implemented here. Even though it's a £44 kit, I still think it would have been better for it and would have just increased the value. Let's have a look at these minis first of all. So you're getting the 4 crew, so 2 crew each, and I've built the other set with the laser destroyers and quad launcher, and I have to say there's enough variance to warrant picking up 2 kits. The 4 Space Marines are kind of in Mark 3/6 armour. It's a bit of a mishmash of armour, it's not a specific one. Games Workshop have even said that themselves. If you can take a little look there at what I'm talking about. Yeah, it has some design cues. It also has a little bit of you know, Tech Marine with the layered plates and the reinforced armours. The power plant looks very reminiscent of Mark 6, and there's bands around the armour and raised surfaces. This particular Space Marine is iPad 30,000 or whatever it is. It's like a command console thing. Interesting to know all of them have these little GoPros on mounts. No, they're extra targeters and transmitters and things hardwired into their power armor, which is pretty cool. All 4 of them have that. And as I said, all of these 4 are exactly the same in this set as they are in the Laser Destroyer Rapier set as well. So you're not getting any specific. Bit of a shame, because, you know, Games Workshop have kind of cheaped out that way by including 1 sprue on both kits, which, yeah, I would have liked to have seen different Space Marines in each, but it is what it is. As I said earlier, there's enough variety to warrant having 2 kits. I forgot to drill that barrel, but I don't think I can get to that one, because it's a very thin barrel to drill out those. And then there's this one that is got its hand on the trigger. We've all got these bolt guns kind of strapped to their sides, except for the one that had on the arm loop. And this one has the servitor, which is quite a nice feature. Looking at this Auspex, whatever you want to call it. Maybe I shouldn't have glued this bolt gun, but I just have. So there you go, that's the 4. If you want to see how different they are compared to the other set, obviously, please feel free to watch the other review when I release that, and you'll see there's slight differences in between the poses But yeah, you do get a fair few options to pose them, and they do look a little bit different. Now onto the rapiers themselves. Brilliant, plenty of detail, fun to build, hardly any mold lines. I drilled out the holes for this quad heavy bolter, and the good news is you can fire at aircraft. You can tilt the trajectory, the firing trajectory of this one at least, which is great. Big ammunition box at the back, and it trundles along like a little tank, and it's got its base. I think they're quite cute. I like them a lot. It's just a shame you can't hot swap the weapons, but you know, it's a weapons platform that carries its ammunition around, and it probably would look a bit odd having the Graviton cannon with a heavy bolt ammunition on the back. So I can see that, and I can kind of forgive them a little bit with this kit. And also the Graviton, look how long it is. Yeah, we've all said that before. But you know, the ammunition or the heat exchangers, whatever they are on the back, they take up more room than obviously the heavy bolters, and the whole cannon takes up a large amount of room. Now they say don't glue this, but it's pointless because it's got a plug and socket system for this particular gun. So unless you went in there and you cut the extra bit of plastic off, you could probably tilt this up and down. But as it is, I just glued it in, and I think it's a nice sort of level weapon. The firing shields, or the track shields, whatever you want to call them, they are the same on both of them. The tracks are the same. The only difference on them is this ammunition at the back. I guess these are big battery type things from the 80s, and the weapon itself. But everything else is the same between these two rapiers. So there you go. That is the Rapier quad heavy bolter and Graviton cannon battery. I built both of them differently for the channel to give you a look at the different weapons. If I was just buying them for myself, I would have fully committed to both having them as Graviton. For me, I see no reason to have heavy bolters, don't have Imperial Fists, and I'll mainly be going against Space Marines and Mechanicum, so yeah, Graviton all the way for me. Exactly like the second set I bought, where I've gone for the laser destroyer and the quad launcher, but if I bought them for myself, I'd just go for full laser destroyer. Now, spare parts wise, this is what you can be greeted with. So you have the other Graviton weapon. I'm not sure whether you could use this for anything. Maybe you could mount it somewhere. I mean, that just connects like that, and you could put that onto something. You obviously get these ejectors, or whatever they're called. You know, you can build the full weapon, is what I'm trying to say, and you even get the ammunition. For the heavy bolters, or the quad heavy bolters, again, exactly the same story. You get the weapons themselves. You could mount them somewhere in a fortification, would look cool. And then you get the ammunition box for them, and this is the spare head that you get. I used all helmeted heads on both sets, but yeah, this is the unhelmeted head. You don't get many heads really, you only get 5. I would have liked to have seen a few more heads, that would have been cool. Quite rare to have so little head in a Horus Heresy box set. Normally they overproduce with heads to compensate for the lack of poses, but this set they only gave you 5. Okay, size comparisons, because I do have the other Rapier batteries, it's only right that I give you a comparison with them next to the others. They're exactly the same size, but of course the weapons are different. I don't know which is longer. Probably the Graviton is the longest weapon out of them all. You can't, I'll talk about this in the review, but with the quad launcher you can't have that level. I guess that's for obvious reasons, but yeah, and much like the Graviton, you can't tilt the laser destroyer. But they're all pretty much the same size. They look really cool next to some Space Marine vehicles and things, of which I will show you. So first up is a Rhino. Everybody knows the size of a Rhino, and this is where they measure up. You could probably fit like 2 of them, the length of a Rhino, maybe. Maybe the top down view would be a bit better. So yeah, maybe you could have like a wall of them protecting your rhino, and then have all the firing crew inside the rhino protected. I don't know, just thinking here. I would give the rhino a bit more armor protection, maybe. Well, half of the height of the rhino, compared to a predator, which is kind of the same size as a rhino but with the extra turret and things. So that's where they are next to that. They're bigger than I expected them to be. And then compared to a Sakaran, so we're getting a bit bigger tanks now. Yeah. And then why not? I've got a Spartan Land Raider, or a Land Raider Spartan. So yeah, that's how big they are. Could you fit one in the doors? No, I don't think you can. Maybe the demolition vehicles, but that would be cool, wouldn't it, if you could actually transport these in Land Raiders. But I think the Land Raiders are just a little bit too small. Possibly a Mastodon, maybe. But yeah, it's a shame these aren't just a little bit thinner, because then you could have a couple of these roll out first, firing away, or firing missiles. Like, why isn't there a missile version? Maybe. But yeah, that would have been cool if you could fit them in. Okay, other size comparisons then will be just with some Space Marines, I guess. I mean, they're already next to a load of Space Marines, but we do have the Mark III and Mark VI. If you wanted to see how these Space Marines measure up in particular, I think these are very similar height. They're very similar, almost identical height. So they're going to work well with your Marks. I don't know which they would work best with. Maybe even the Crusade, maybe the Mark II that are coming out. They'd work quite well with those. But yeah, compared to some 40k minis then. So yeah, if they're the same height as the crew, then they're going to work well with the Rapiers. But 40k minis, I'm not sure if you ever will get 40k rules for them, but you've got a Primaris, you've got Slimarbo, so yeah, compared to a normal Space Marine. Space Marine is taller, Slimarbo is a little bit taller, so these are about 5 foot or so, and then that's the Primaris next to the Rapier. So yeah, these are still quite tall and wide. Okay, so this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for the Rapier Quad Heavy Bolters and Graviton Cannon Battery. You'll find them in your Liber Astartes book. Hopefully you'll also find them in the brand new Liber Astartes book. But they are nestled in the Elites section, which has always been quite a fun section for them to be in, considering they consist of a whopping great big heavy weapon. But it frees up you know, more choices for your tanks and things. So a Legion Rapier battery will cost you 40 points and consists of 1 Rapier carrier and 2 Legion gunners. A Legion Rapier battery may include up to 2 additional Rapier carriers at 40 points per model. So yeah, you can have 3 per battery, as it were. The war gear, you have a bolt pistol for the Legion gunner only, a bolter for the Legion gunner only, power armor for the Legion gunner only, Gravis heavy bolter battery, Rapier carrier only. Unit type is Rapier carrier, infantry, artillery heavy. Legion gunner is infantry heavy. And special rules, Legiones Astartes X, bulky 4, Rapier carrier only, relentless Rapier carrier only, and Legion artillerists. So there's a little note here, for each additional Rapier carrier the unit must include 2 additional Legion gunners for no additional points cost. So you're paying your 40 points for 2 Space Marines, which typically cost you about 14 points each, so that's 28. So you're getting the Rapier gun for like 12 points, which is a bargain. Now the stat line reads, the Legion gunner is a movement of 7 inches, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, toughness 4, 1 wound, initiative 4, 1 attack, leadership 7 and a save of 3+. But the Rapier carrier has a movement of 4 inches, so a bit slower, weapon skill 1, ballistic skill 4, strength 1, toughness 5, 2 wounds, initiative 1, attacks 1, no leadership, and still the same save as a 3+. Every Rapier carrier in the unit may exchange its Gravis heavy bolter battery for one of the following. All Rapier carriers in the unit must take the same upgrade. That's annoying. in that if you've got two, they all have to have the same weapon, which sucks. Which, of course, as you can see there, mine have different weapons, so they have to be different batteries. So a laser destroyer will cost you plus 25 points each. A graviton cannon will cost you plus 20 points each. Quad launcher with frag shells only is 20 points each. Now, a Rapier carrier battery that includes Rapier carriers with quad launchers may take any of the following additional shell types. The same upgrades must be taken for all Rapier carriers in the unit. So that gives you even more limitations. So for one, you're going to have two or three of your Rapiers being quad launchers, and two, you're going to have them all with the same shells. So you can't just pick one with a quad launcher that has just one type of shell. They all have to have the same. So incendiary shells are 5 points per model, shatter shells are 20 points, and splinter shells 10 points. Now, it's all right me telling you how much points and things these weapons cost, but I think you probably would like to know what these weapons do. So we'll start off with the standard weapon, which is the... And don't worry, I will go through... And for this particular set, I will just talk about the Gravis Heavy Bolter Battery and the Graviton Cannon. And then the other review for the other set, I will talk about the Laser Destroyer and the Quad Launcher and all those different shells. So first up, the Gravis Heavy Bolter Battery. It is a 48-inch range, strength 5, AP 4, heavy 8, twin linked. That's amazing. I mean, it's 48-inch range heavy bolter. It's better than the Gravis Bolt Cannon. The Gravis Bolt Cannon has the same stat line, but it only has heavy 6 shots. This thing has 8 shots. You get 3 of these in a battery, yeah, you're going to be pumping out 24 shots there. Talking about the Graviton Cannon then, it is a 36-inch range, it doesn't have a strength, and its AP is 4, but it is a heavy 1, large blast, so the big 5-inch blast, concussive, Graviton Pulse, and Haywire. Now the Graviton Pulse, instead of rolling to wound, any model without the vehicle, dreadnought or automata unit type suffers a hit from the weapon with a special rule, must roll under their strength on a d6 or suffer a wound. And a roll of a 6 always counts as a failure. So for Space Marine that's strength 4, you're going to have to roll under the 6, and then they get the wound. If a weapon with Graviton Pulse also has a blast type, which this does, then you have to leave the blast marker in place after resolving all wounds, and the area counts as difficult terrain and dangerous terrain until the end of the next game turn. It also has the Haywire rule, which is for each hit inflicted on a unit that contains at least one model with the vehicle, dreadnought or automata unit type. Roll a d6 to determine the effect rather than rolling to wound or for armor penetration normally. AP has no effect on this roll. D6 result of 1, no effect. 2 to 5, vehicles suffer a glancing hit. Other models suffer 1 wound. Only invulnerable saves or damage mitigation rolls may be taken against wounds inflicted by this result. And on a 6, vehicles suffer a penetrating hit. Dreadnoughts and automata suffer 1 wound. No saves or damage mitigation rolls may be taken against wounds inflicted by this result. So Graviton, 2 to 5, you're going to be giving them a glancing hit with anything that has Haywire. So might be worth targeting vehicles as well with the Graviton Cannon. And that's pretty much all I've got to say about the Rapier Quad Heavy Bolters and Graviton Cannon battery. In terms of what you want to go for with this particular set, the Graviton's good against vehicles and it's got the 5-inch blast marker. The Heavy Bolter array has got a whopping 8 shots and it's a longer range at 48-inch range. So if you want to be shooting at heavy weapon squads, take 2 of these and you've got 16 shots there. So they're bound to lose a few wounds. It's a great kit, looks good. Yeah, it is expensive, but you'll have a lot of fun building these, and you probably only will need one set anyway, depending on your army list. Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. However, if you are building an army where you want to field a full 3 Rapier batteries, you're going to have to buy 2 of these sets, and that means you're going to have 1 battery left over if you're just interested in like 3 Graviton cannons. So that's a downside of the set. But what do you guys think? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be good to hear from you. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.